Hello, everyone. Welcome to BLBS episode 8. I'm doing the intro this time. Isn't that crazy? It's kind of wacky. But I've got my classic cohorts in crime here: Tanner Dykstra, Timo Nelson, and Abram Buhner. And I also am hearing myself because I have the episode playing on YouTube. In the background. But we're here to just screw around. We actually barely have a plan this time. We got feedback last time that the sort of more off the cuff, us screwing around format of BLBS was what people enjoyed, so we
Yep.
decided to not plan ahead.
Yes.
Not well, mostly because we didn't have a plan, but it just happened to work out that way.
Now let me clear the air for all of the viewers. You know when you don't do your homework and you try to come up with a reason to make it sound like it was planned? There was no fucking planning to this. We got on Discord 45 minutes ago and said no one has topics. There was no forethought. We don't care. We barely listen to audience feedback. However, we did hear that you liked last week's episode, so we figured our inability to plan the show happens to line up with your needs.
Wow.
So it does work out this one time. I
Incredible.
don't want you to get the impression that we know what we're doing because that's part of our charm. It's part of our charm. We can't lose it. Certainly can't lose it.
And we are charming fellows.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Tanner is a certain charming dude.
Thank you.
All right. Well, actually, I don't know where I fall in this. I don't know what my role is anymore because usually I'm your humble moderator. Usually, I keep us moving between topics. I say, all right, who's got a thing to say? But none of us have anything to say. So
I do.
will we sit? Oh,
Yeah, we say we don't
Ruin my
have
joke.
topics, but typically, well, I think it was but maybe 5 minutes before we started, we were like, oh, well, I have a topic, and everyone's like, I have a topic, and the team was like, I can talk about some bullshit that I was doing.
I've had a topic since Wednesday, and I asked Tucker. And
The
all
Wednesday
capital letters over text.
the
"Can I
Wednesday
talk about
topic.
this thing?"
Cool.
Mhm.
that is never a good sign. When Abram texts me something in all caps and expects it to be positive, it's never positive.
I said, hey, can I talk about on the podcast? And he said, I think you said that I can go fuck myself, but you also said somewhere in there, yes.
Oh.
And that means I can have the floor for a little bit because I want to talk to you about
All right.
a concert I went to.
A concert.
But it was a virtual
But Abram,
concert.
you get COVID.
I fucked it up. I said it was a virtual concert before you said that. That's how you know
Ah.
that we're just hanging out. It's okay. We'll work it out in post. We'll re-edit. It'll be
Mhm.
fine. But the point
Oh,
is, I went to a
God.
virtual concert on Wednesday for the one man who has been there through the absolute worst and best parts of my life, which is the one
Tucker Hansen.
Black Bear. Well,
Tucker's only been there for the worst parts.
Oh.
it was for one Matthew Musto, also known as Black Bear. And Black Bear is my favorite musical artist, and he was holding a virtual concert. I have never gotten to see him live in person. It's one of the few things I want to do in this life of mine. But getting to see him perform live virtually was a good first step. So my girlfriend and I both bought tickets to this virtual concert. It's being run through a place called Moment House. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not planning to become a musician, but if I am, Moment House can go fuck themselves, A, and B, I'll never work with them. Moment
Wow.
House essentially is an
Glowing
up-and-coming...
review.
Yes, well, here's the problem. They're an up-and-coming music streaming concert venue, right? Whatever that means. So you pay $15 a ticket to get access to Moment House's stream. The problem is that Moment House has never had an artist as big as Black Bear before. They just started at the end of last year. This stream crashed immediately because people started they were spamming cock in the chat. They're spamming their fucking Snapchat handles. They were spamming all kinds of nonsense. There are people joining constantly. It was a mess. The stream crashed immediately. It was supposed to start at 9 p.m. EST. It took about an hour and a half to actually go live. During that time, people were tweeting nonsense at Black Bear. Black Bear was tweeting saying he's trying to get things fixed. There's a whole to-do. In the end, the stream came up. It started. I was worried we were going to miss some of the set list, and it turns out this is the real kicker here, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. Black Bear wasn't actually performing live. It was a live recorded set. So essentially, we paid $15 each for a one-time access, right, to a recording of Black Bear's concert.
To a video.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, it's important to contextualize this against the fact that it was fucking awesome. Black Bear is known for putting on a very great live show, and even virtually, I loved it. Now here's the
So
thing.
wait, I
You
have a
three-
question. I don't know. I've never actually
Yes.
heard of this guy before. What kind of music does he make?
He R&B pop. Have you heard Hot Girl
Reddit
Bummer?
breakfast.
Hot Girl Bummer is probably his most well-known.
Okay, maybe
song.
I don't.
Question: Tucker's an idiot. What does R&B stand for?
Rhythm and blues.
Rhythm and blues,
I prefer Reddit breakfast.
Well, that works too.
red and
And the fact
beans.
of the matter is,
God damn it.
the three of you know nothing about Black Bear, which means
God.
when I stop and interject and bring the show to a grinding halt, when I say
Yeah.
that the set list was very well done, but his more hardcore songs, your Gucci Linens, your Chateaus, didn't come across as well when you're watching them at home. If you were actually there live with him and he was saying, "Jump, put your hands up, show your titties" for Dylan, that happened. Inside joke.
Is he Dylan?
No, Dylan's his drummer.
Oh.
His long hair, ugly drummer who gave me a weird vibe from the very beginning.
Ooh.
Um,
Well, it's always
but
good
if
to
you
have a
had-
long hair, ugly drummer in your
Sure,
band. That's
sure.
a quintessential component.
Yeah, which one of us is the long-haired ugly drummer?
Who has the longest hair?
Probably
um,
me.
I mean, volume maybe.
Yeah, voluminous or lengthwise?
I go with length, but
Let's get a 3.
ah, Jesus Christ! Oh shit!
I
A
think
bird
it's
just hit my window. It freaked me
Oh,
the
no.
fuck out. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. Oh my god.
Well,
Backlog Banter bringing you the spooks this week.
Oh my god, it's
No,
not
it's
even
the
Halloween,
star
dude.
of the birds.
Oh God.
Alfred.
was it a murder? Was it a suicide? I don't know, but Black Bear, bottom line, brought the fucking house down. Hearing those live versions of his songs I've heard literally hundreds of times was absolutely awesome. I'm not going to linger on this because you guys have nothing to say about this, as I'm not surprised by. But I had a fucking phenomenal time. I spent $80 on some concert merch. It's not going to arrive for probably 5 to 6 weeks. But goddamn, does it look sick? Did my girlfriend and I have a phenomenal time? Did Bear sound great? And fourth, as soon as this dumb fucking virus is gone and he's able to play again and you're able to go to a concert venue, I want to be there in the front row. So it was a wonderful highlight to my week.
There you go.
Very
Well,
good.
before I actually have some music stuff to talk about too. But
God, is this the fucking music episode?
is the
Like,
music
getting
episode.
hacked?
So,
God
if any of you fine people in the chat have something that you want us to discuss, a question, a topic, a hot
The real
take
question is, how are we gonna
generator.
find people in the chat.
Well, we got fine people watching, so if you want us to speak
100%.
over something, throw it in the chat and we will try to get to it. But my thing was that my favorite video game composer, Yukio Kallio, is a Finnish Japanese artist, and he actually worked on the Fall Guys soundtrack, among other stuff, like so like the you know, that kind of music, right?
Mhm.
What the fuck?
The
The doody doody doos.
It sounds,
Fall
you know, the
Guys.
Fall Guy music, right? It's pretty recognizable. He also did
We
like
have-
the Nuclear Throne soundtrack and like some other like pretty cool stuff.
Okay.
And he's Finnish and I'm Finnish, so I'm like, wow, wow, wow.
Wow, wow.
He released a new album, is the long short of it, and it's really good. It's not video game music; it's Finnish minimalism. And I sent a couple messages in the student radio station Discord that I like with, because there's like a music sharing channel, and I said, for all you Finnish minimalism fans out there, as like a, oh yeah, this is a real popular genre. We got lots of fans of this.
Timo, would you be scared and alarmed to know that my grandparents are Finnish?
No, I would not be scared or alarmed.
Perhaps by some distance connection, we are in fact related. That's gonna be the new
Wow.
Backlog Banter headcanon.
Wow.
Dude, that's why
Wow.
we look so
Brothers?
similar.
What are you doing, Stepbro?
What are you
Oh,
doing?
Let's be careful.
Cut the stream.
Let's be careful. But if I take my glasses off and my hair go to the side, I think that Timo and I are brothers.
Yeah, if I actually was, you know, cut the hair on the sides of my head, we would look very, very similar.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's
Very neat.
that was the joke of the first episode. You guys remember that? Way back in the fucking day?
Way
2
back.
months ago. It's our 2-month anniversary.
8 years ago. Can you believe that?
We do 1 episode a year.
So we got a question from a certain Mr. Pat Hazel asks us, is this episode 8 or episode infinity? Someone else want to field the answer?
You know, as Backlog Banter is a timeless brand, and we are timeless, ageless men, I feel like this very well may be episode infinity. Will this episode ever end? Will the torturous monotony of our nonsensical banter ever end? The answer is no.
Absolutely not.
Hell no, you kidding me? I'm sorry I cursed, Papa. So yeah, we've got my dad in the chat. I sent him the link earlier. I said, "Hey, Abram's parents have been watching us, which clearly they're not right now. I'd like to
Fake fans.
Shout out to the Buhner family.
Oh fuck!
The unshout out.
They get one negative shout out,
Oh.
but one plus shout out to the Hazel family for representing.
The
Is
Hazel
there a-
clan.
Is there a Hazel Buhner blood feud brewing?
Ooh,
Is it like
more-
the Capulets and the
Hatfields and the
Montesquieu's?
McCoys.
Is this like
Oh, we went for
Captain
two
America
different
Civil
references
War?
there.
we're developing the backlog banter headcanon right here?
So we got
Except for it's not headcanon because we're the members and we're coming up with which means it's canon.
It's just regular canon.
so we have another question from
Oh,
Mr.
shit.
Pat Hazel. Is that who picked the top of No Topic? I think he means the topic of No Topic.
Oh. It was sort of just a general consensus that we came to out of our shared laziness.
It was a creative decision.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
Well, actually,
was
if you look back on Timo sending a chat at 3:47, I think we need to do some planning on segments before this week's episode. And then Abram saying,
No.
yeah, but in all seriousness, doesn't really matter.
I didn't say that. I was on the toilet as I said that too.
Wow.
Well, there you
All
go.
Good business is taken care of.
Well-
Backlog banter headcanon. Abram takes a shit.
Oh
Yeah.
no, not this again.
That's where the sentence ends. No more shit humor on this podcast.
Yeah, we did enough of that,
Yeah,
this
we-
week.
I'm
You know,
denying that
I'm
right now.
I'm
Last
interested.
week.
I'm interested to hear about Mr. Tanner's week because I gave a little
Oh.
spiel. Abram gave a little spiel. Tucker lives a boring life inside his apartment, but Tanner has interesting things going on. So I want to know.
Is that true? Timo, do you know things about my life that I don't? I do have a topic this week, though.
Oh.
I do have a topic that we can discuss.
Well, before you
Uh,
get to that, we do have some Buhner family representation in the chat.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
fuck.
Finally.
So are you going to
Fashionably
rescind
quick.
your unshout out now?
I don't think you can
Well-
rescind such a thing.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think
No,
this
that,
is like
that
when
would be
Arch.
on shout out, so that would not be. That's too many double negatives for me.
This is almost as shocking as when Sir Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot.
How?
What has been set in motion cannot be unmotion.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Unmotioned.
Oh,
I think
that's
that's
Newton's
Newton's
fifth law of
fourth law.
motion.
Wait, how many are there? We talked about this
Beautiful.
earlier this week. 3? Are there 3 or
How many
4?
laws?
We could do another we could make another segment of Tucker's an idiot where it's Timo doesn't know how to do math because I haven't taken a math class in a couple years.
Yeah. I mean,
Tanner
I already-
has-
Entertaining
already-
content.
Sorry, excuse me. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on from that garbage. Okay. Tuck and I, we live together, okay? For better or for
True.
worse. We often have friendly disagreements about topics and things and
Topics
things of
and
that
things.
nature. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can believe it. One such thing that we often clash heads over is my letterboxd watch list.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Tucker is excited to rant, I can tell. My watch let's do a live update. How many things are in my watch list as of right now? Let's find out.
While you're looking, Christian says they have black tape over Tucker's quadrant.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Oh,
what if
dear
Timo,
Lord.
what if you move the cells around in OBS?
That so much pain to do that.
If we
Swap-
fucking
swap
look at
Abram and
OBS
I?
the wrong way,
It'll
it'll
break.
explode. To once, the fucking open source nonsense is to my benefit. This is
Okay.
phenomenal.
Okay. Tucker, I feel like Tucker has a general idea, but Timo and Abram, I'd like you to take a guess, take a shot in the dark at how
the
many
fucking
films
gander.
are on my letterboxd watch list.
You're like
Somewhere
to
between.
watch, the ones you want to
Yes.
watch. Yeah.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Is
Mhm.
like, at some point in my life, I really would like to play Jack and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, but I would never put that on a
That's
game
a great
I'm gonna.
game.
But see, here's the thing: I never put that on games I'm going to playlist because I'm not going to get to it. Is this just of all time, or is this reasonable? You are going to watch these. That's
Oh,
my
it's
question.
not reasonable in the slightest.
Well, yeah. Here's the problem. This is
So it's
where
like,
the
is it like,
conflict.
I'm gonna guess 500 films on the
Ooh,
watch
that's
list.
cute.
I
Oh,
was gonna say like 75.
Ooh, that's much
That's-
cuter.
That's adorable.
75 is a
I-
reasonable
Remember a
number.
bite-sized piece of cantaloupe I had for breakfast.
I have 1,758 films on my watch list.
Jesus Christ.
Now, Abram, you brought up the criteria by which I add things to my watch list.
Sure.
What happens is, I'm scrolling, I'm checking Letterboxd, I'm looking at things, at movies and things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
and I see a movie. It's like,
As one
that
does.
movie
on
looks
Letterboxd.
cool. I'll add that to my watch list.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so he's just done that for
oftentimes-
thousands of films.
Yes. If there's a director that I recently watched a movie from, and I'm like, and I love to make a list. Me and Tucker have that in common. I only make a list of a director after I've watched 3 of their films.
Same
So
here.
I'll add 2 more of their films to my watch list. Maybe if I just hear the name of a director, and I say, I'm gonna add some of their films to my watch list. That's kind of how it got inflated to the point of nearing 1,800 entries.
Oh my god.
Here's the only question that matters.
Mhm.
Do you feel any kind of pressure?
To like,
that list.
to,
No.
is it like a to-do list? No.
Well, here's
No,
a
it's
real
not a
question.
to-do list. It's just
Bec-
eventually I want to watch all those films.
See, I think that's totally fine. I had
Okay.
this conversation with people on Twitter, actually. It's more for games, but I hate when people are like, oh my god, I'm so stressed out because I have this backlist of things I want to play
Like-
or
Mhm.
watch or read. What's the purpose of it? Just enjoy things at your own pace. I don't understand turning your hobbies into some kind of fucking itemized job. It's never made sense to me.
Well, it's funny you should ask. It's funny you should bring that up. Because speaking of pacing things out, I made a dedication to myself that I'd watch 31 horror films this month.
Oh.
Okay.
And I missed a few days.
Uh-oh.
So today I've
Most
watched
days this
2.
week.
2. I watched 2 today, and I have about 3 more in the lineup for today. So what I do is basically I make a watch list. I have my Letterboxd watch list, and then I also have like a list of movies that I'm watching in the relative future.
Okay. See, I think this makes. I don't understand where the controversy here is. I don't
Well,
understand
let
there
me
could
tell you.
possibly controversy around
Yeah,
this.
Alright,
let,
let
me
me- let
turn it over to
me-
Tucker.
Let me tell you a tale. This is a ages long feud. This has been a dispute between us since I showed Tanner Letterboxd in last like,
Mhm.
November or something.
Oh, we Jeromed.
I don't know what the feud is.
I
We're not
just
gonna know.
I have Letterboxd and I just don't use it to its full extent. You know what Tucker's favorite thing about my Letterboxd is?
What's that?
Letterboxd allows you to select some favorite films to display on the top of your profile. And
Okay.
I have chosen 3 favorite films to display on my profile when there is
Mhm.
space for 4. I do not fill the 4th slot. There is
I
n-
have
there
noticed that as well.
there is no need to fill that 4th slot. I think my 4 favorite films are Lawrence of Arabia 2001 and Return of the King is what it is. I think.
Mhm.
I think that's what it says.
That's your 4 favorite films.
That's my 4 favorite films. There's no
It's
4th.
long enough for like 18 films, so I think that's totally fine. Those fucking
Yeah,
are
there's-
long
there are
pieces of
3
Yeah.
cinema.
I have my 3 films in my favorites. I don't need a 4th one. And that's how I use Letterboxd. I barely like rank my movies. I like log them. I don't really log that many.
Okay.
I've missed
Tucker,
I
now
want to
that
hear about the
you've-
controversy now.
Yeah, Tucker, now that
Yeah.
the internet has caught up to your rage, would you like to tell us again?
Oh, all right. We've got to talk about that later off camera. But so my problem with this fella, all right, but he and I used Letterboxd a little bit differently. I indoctrinated him into the wonderful world of Letterboxd and list making and stuff, and I consider myself his Jedi master, if you will. He's my Padawan for Letterboxd, and
Of course.
I feel obligated to teach him the proper etiquette for using the site. All right, and I have seen, and this is including all the short films and the 1800s experimental films and things of that nature that I've seen. I have 1,406 films logged on Letterboxd. And that is a couple hundred more than Tanner has.
Yeah, I'm getting close to 800.
Yeah. Okay. So about 600 more. I have 564 films on my Letterboxd watch list. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a disparity there.
The ratio is a little off.
Yes.
Okay, but here's the thing. It's like when you're talking about the fucking debt of a country. Once a number is big enough,
It just does
the
not
number's
matter.
twice as big, it
True.
doesn't matter. That's
True.
not,
Yeah.
like how you can't. This feels like glass houses, but continue.
No. So herein lies my issue. Tanner's criteria for adding things to the watch list becomes a little bit too vague for me to feel that his watch list is in any way useful. If he feels like he can just add anything that he hears the name for, or he goes 5 films down on a fucking random director's list and adds it on there, he's likely never going to get to most of those films. I know you like to say that you want to watch all of those, but the likelihood is that 75% of those will never be watched. And when I consider something to be added to my watch list, I like to have multiple converging factors to put it on there so it separates those films out from the larger grouping of films that exist. So managing a watch list of certain groupings of films that you actually want to see for multiple reasons, I feel is using the watch list feature to its greatest potential. And there we go. I'm teaching you guys how to use Letterboxd.
I don't
Here's
have a
what I'd like to-
letterbox watch list. Simple as that.
Here's what I'd like to say. I feel like the internet age has opened up this bizarre phenomenon of turning your hobby into some kind of meticulously fucking. It's like clipping. It's like, here's the thing. I've got this bonsai tree, right? It's fake. Don't worry about it when I do this. It's fucking not real. I can't afford or maintain a real one. But you're fucking, oh, I'm going to clip away at my watch list. Oh, I'm going to write that I played 15 minutes of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on backlog.gg today. My point being, I think that you should enjoy your games, your films, your comics, however you want to enjoy them. If you want to be meticulous, sure, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. See, because here's what I have to say. Here's what I have to say. Tanner's watch list is just his watch list. Your watch list, here's the thing. If you're like, hey, well, let me tell you mine. My watch list right now, Aliens, Ghostbusters, and Tron.
Nice.
That is my watch list because those are the 3 movies I'm going to watch in a short time scale. Tucker, you have 534 movies. That is in no way better than Tanner's. And just because you keep yours fucking clipped a little bit closer to the trunk of the hedge doesn't make it any more superior. Personally, I think that Letterboxd should be deleted off the internet, and whoever made it should go to jail. Because it's leading to all of this unnecessary conflict. Enjoy your movies or don't enjoy them. Don't use Letterboxd. That's a roundabout. Fucking cut the tree at the trunk.
Cut the tree.
Cut it off.
Take the fucking
Kill your
Japanese
hobby,
man,
is what
the
you're saying.
Kill
Japanese
your
man
hobbies.
who sold you the bonsai tree. Cut it in half. Throw the pot back at him.
Yeah.
I think
Say go do something else.
Letterboxd is good for the review aggregation, and for writing stuff. And like as a catalog, it's kind of interesting. Like I kind of like to be like, what movie did I watch in September of 2018? Oh, I can go look. That's kind of interesting. But for video games, do not care because video games are too long. I play video games that are often hundreds of hours long, and that does not matter because I've been playing freaking Dota 2 for like 6 or 7 years. So how am I gonna log that on backlog.gg or whatever? It's just gonna be like some.
There's literally a feature for that.
And yet it's not useful. I don't care.
It all comes down to the fact that you should enjoy your hobby how you want to enjoy it.
Except for if Abram doesn't like the way you're enjoying your hobby.
Well, no, because that was obviously hyperbole. I don't think fucking John Backlog should go to jail because he made the website. I just think that us having a debate about if Tanner is using a backlogged feature incorrectly is rude. I don't care. They're the same website.
Yeah.
He enjoys his watch list how he enjoys his watch list. You enjoy yours how you enjoy yours. I don't think there's any kind of debate to be had here.
Okay, but you know what website that performs a similar function is actually good and useful?
Twitter.com.
Goodreads is great for books. It's like ancient. It's way older than the rest of them. So there's just like it's good for reviews and stuff. So like,
what?
It's
Your point is that it's older, so it has more like history to it, and you can find
It's
like
the
older-
original letterbox.
It kind of is. It's for books, and it's better.
Yeah. I mean,
I think you may be biased because you, unlike the rest of us here, actually read books.
I do read books. Let's count the books on my desk. But first we have a question from
Oh.
Pat Hazel. He says, "Is the show a hobby for us or a weekly obligation?"
That that's the thing. Is it
Depends
hasn't
on
been
the
going
week.
long enough. It hasn't been going long
Dep-
enough for that to really.
I
Set
wouldn't
in.
call this an up. I'd say we love getting into Discord here and hopping on YouTube and yelling at each other about nonsense.
I enjoy it. Yeah, it's fun.
Here's what I want to say. I want to it's a little plug, I suppose. But what I mean, anyone fucking watching this show already knows what we do otherwise. But what I love is what we're recording next. This is a big
Oh.
fucking wind up before we record Quest of the
That's true.
Bestest. So
It
it's
is.
really fun.
Yeah. So
That's really fun.
the weeks in which we are successful, we record our movie review series that airs on Fridays immediately following. If you notice, if you are an astute observer, we usually are wearing the same clothes in the week's episode of BLBS and then the one on Friday. And yeah, I will agree. That one is really great. There's a lot of hype. It's very interesting. It's intellectually stimulating.
Ooh, unlike this is cool. This
This is
porn, alright?
intellectually
Okay.
de-evolutionary.
Great
If you
words.
watch this, you begin to lose brain.
Yeah.
Not even
Yeah,
brain cells,
you
chunks of
regress.
So
You regress.
you were wondering what books I have on my desk right now. So let me.
I would like to. Oh, actually, I can do this segment first for me, much quicker.
Okay.
I would like to count how many books I brought to college.
How many books you brought to college?
1. Overwatch: The Hero of Numbani.
So
1.
I've got
Still haven't read it.
I've got a bunch of books for class. So I got like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Well,
7,
I don't
8,
count
9.
books for class. I have my
10.
Latin textbook right here. I have another Latin textbook of the exact same kind, but rented an accidental second copy
Bruh.
underneath my computer right now.
Well, these are like actual like novels and stuff. So I've got 10 books just chilling on my desk. Some of them I will decline to show on stream because of reasons.
Mm.
I think I know what some of those might be.
They
Well,
are
6
older.
copies of the Kama Sutra.
Well,
So the coolest book that I have
mine
is
counts 20 times.
this Brandon
Oh.
Sanderson book is kind of a chode of a book. It's really big and fat. It's like 1,300 pages long. It's fun. Fantasy. I love fantasy. And then I've got class books and then some research for my radio show. I if you want to know more about things, read books. There you go. And then I've got
An
some
official endorsement from Timo Nelson.
I've got
If you
some
want to learn things, read about them.
I've got some smaller books from a certain since defunct nation of the Eastern European variety that my mother got in the late 70s.
And we shall leave it there.
Yeah.
And then a Finnish book that has lots of swastikas on it because the swastika is a Finnish symbol.
Did you finish it?
No, I can't read it. It's not in English. I don't know Finnish well enough to know what it says.
I was gonna make a similar joke and say, well, Timo, I hope that the books you're reading are finished.
Nice.
That's my fucking joke.
Yes.
Do you want-
Can I spin something around and talk about basically the only thing I did this week?
Yeah, what did you do
Now,
this
I
week?
dabbled in class. I did a few classes. I did schoolwork.
That's-
Boring.
Yeah, I know. We're not.
That's
gonna talk about
that's
that, but
unusual though. He usually doesn't do his class.
I watched 16 movies this week.
Christ.
Now, Gahunga? We on our weekly video game podcast, Backlog Banter. I know there's a similarity there in another phrase you might be familiar with, Backlog Banter. It's the same name. But we have a weekly video game podcast in which this week I discussed the fact that I have a hard time managing my hobbies. I really get into one certain thing and sort of neglect the other things that I enjoy and do that for a while, burn myself out on it, and then start something else. It does help me get really into things and enjoy them a lot more. I feel like it helps my enjoyment, but it does hinder me having access to a lot of things at the same time. Now, I have been playing a lot of video games the last few months. It's been helping us do this channel. It's been helping us do BLB. It's been helping us do reviews. But I've been mostly neglecting my film obsession until about the beginning of this week when I watched 5 movies from the same director in 3 days. And I have also watched another 10 movies on top of that. And any questions that you may or may not have about the fact that I watched 15 movies in the past 7 days may be asked now.
How?
Um,
How did you manage this feat?
my balls.
Well, here's what's interesting. You average that out. That's probably what, like 2. Let's be charitable. Say 2 hours a film, so 4 hours and change a day of film watching. This really does not help my personal headcanon, back to Backlog Banter headcanon, that you don't go to school.
Yeah.
I believe other
I don't know
members of this
how
call
you-
subscribe to it also.
I have no idea how you do school.
Well, I have all A's, so let me tell you fucking what.
That's very good. It's very impressive.
I think
That's
I've figured out
insane.
how to game the system in which I can partake in my hobbies, not be stressed, and get good grades.
Tucker is such a gamer that he
Tucker-
games
He
real
games real life.
life. I don't.
That's it.
Wow. I
I
guess
should write
so.
a book about that,
yeah,
but I
you-
don't read books.
And you don't write either.
No, he writes on fucking backlogged all the time.
He
Oh yeah,
really-
I've written a couple 1,500 word reviews
Wow.
of Super Mario Land, Super Mario Bros. 3. I did a Super Mario 64 one. I did a lot of Mario last few weeks.
Mario. I guess it's because I
Heard
have
of him.
I have this job now. I'm like working 10 or so hours a week, and so 10 hours a week is like whoop, all my free time for video gaming and movie watching is gone. Besides the movies that I am obligated to watch by today,
Mm-hmm.
Jobs take time.
they do.
Backlog
Sure.
Banter fact of the day.
Here's a fun
Especially, I
fact.
have a
I
30-minute commute to my job there and back, like each
Oof.
way. So it's like I've been listening to podcasts. I actually kind of got into a podcast for a little while. I really, despite creating a podcast, I do not listen to podcasts.
Oh well.
I have for years. I listened to plenty of podcasts. Podcasts were
Likewise.
my content of choice for a couple summers straight. When I always have a podcast on in the background. If I'm doing dishes, if I'm eating a meal, if I last week, this is kind of a podcast, but I'm doing Jeremy Parrish's NES Works, the retrospective of the entire NES library. I've been watching a bunch of those, so I know a lot more about like Stack Up and 10-Yard Fight and Gumshoe than I probably should.
So I was listening to a true crime podcast.
Oh, a classic genre.
The classic
Backlog
genre of-
Banter,
Yeah. Where we murder our viewers.
because that is
through-
truly a crime.
It was there's a professor for my journalism class that I want to get a job working at his thing next summer, and so I was listening to his podcast so then I can I'd be like knowledgeable about it and whatnot. It was,
I'm
and,
your biggest fan.
yeah. Well, I got hooked. I listened to the first episode and I was like, damn, gotta listen to the rest now. And I was like, oh, 30-minute commute, cool. That's 2 episodes a day I go to work.
Nice.
So I might listen to more. I gotta discover some more. How do I find podcasts? The search bar, I think.
Yeah, I think that's typically how you go about it.
I can't.
If you have
wait.
any podcast recommendations for Timo Nelson, drop them in the chat.
Yeah, I will
That's a good
try
call.
to listen to them.
I can't wait to listen to the Joe Rogan Kanye podcast.
Kanye West one?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
boy.
I can't fucking wait. I didn't realize it'd come out yet, but I'm gonna be starting that. It's gonna take me a couple days to get through it. I'm
Yeah.
a big Kanye fan, so I'm very excited to listen to that podcast.
I used to
Kanye,
be
unfortunately. Sorry, you want to say?
Okay. I used to be a Joe Rogan religious follower. I fell off. I only go back to the YouTube clips a few times now. You know, I try not to. They're just too long. They're just too long for my everyday life now. I don't have time to listen to 2.5 to 3 hours of him talking to some idiot on a show.
I don't find Joe Rogan himself particularly interesting. I've never been one of those people that listen every episode. It's been if it's
He
a
is-
guest that I'm compelled
He has
by.
courted the market on being a sort of like a blank slate that has interesting anecdotes to drop in every once in a while. But the real star of the show is the guest. Obviously.
Yeah.
I ended up, I don't know, like winter last year from like December through March, kind of like watching at least a lot of clips and some full episodes. And I saw recently a like a post where someone was like, Joe Rogan is like the the warrior Khan of the Mughal Empire, where he brings in the like smart science men from around the realm and asks them to explain why the shiny rocks are in the sky, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah. Yes.
Oh God.
Joe Rogan is responsible for the longest podcast I've ever listened to, though. Nearing, I think it was nearing 5 hours. His interview with
Ooh.
Alex Jones.
Fucking awesome.
Yes.
Some of that
Let me
is
tell you, listening to the incoherent ramblings of madman Alex Jones while he just cruising the highway at night. Boy, oh boy, there's nothing quite like it. Him telling the experiences of being choked out by his friends as a child and dreaming, having astral projection dreams of being a medieval knight and seeing interdimensional beings welcome him into the star world. It's something to behold, really.
You got to listen to it. You have to listen to it.
I think I will eventually. Yeah. I mean, we do have a connection. Timo and I do to one Sir Alexis
Alexi Jones.
Joseph.
and now
Yeah,
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, well,
yeah?
but yeah, because Alex Jones is from Austin, Texas,
Yep.
and we know a bunch of people who have seen him in real life.
Yeah, we friends
He
of ours have
visits the
pictures.
peak areas that we've been to.
Have pictures with Joe Rogan, with Alex Jones, and he rides his yeah, he got a DUI, so he just rides. He can't drive, but he rides his like armored tank around protests.
Nothing so fucking ridiculous
and
looking.
people like pound their fists on it because it pisses them off.
Yeah.
That's his shtick.
That's his shtick.
I mean, our shtick is not being smart enough to make a coherent podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a great episode.
Yes.
I just
I'm gonna put it
feel
out there. It's been a great episode.
I said in the Discord that I felt pretty boring this week. I really don't have any interesting stuff to talk about. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's boring. I mean, it's just there's nothing interesting up here in the Northlands. There's snow on the ground. Cool. Some of the lakes are kind of beginning to freeze over. Cold. It's not. It's worse than cool. It's cold. That's it. That's all there is.
And that's
Well,
fine.
honestly, I would say you've been pretty good this episode. I mean, you came into it saying, I got nothing to say. I'm a boring man. This has been a boring week. But no, you've had some good quotes. You know, I'm sure we can go back and pull some things out that would not be good to put in front of a job interview. But you know, that's what this is for.
That's the sign of a great podcast, I feel.
Exactly.
If you're
I
gonna
mean, hey, there's
regret it
plenty
in
of-
20 years, you done good.
I do have one thing I'd like to bring up because we don't talk a lot of every so often we'll talk about a news story or something of that sort, something in the movie or gaming news realm. But we often don't do it because it's easy just to turn this into a news podcast. But this is just wacky enough that I feel like it's notable enough to bring up.
Okay.
This was reported on this week, maybe the end of last week, beginning of this week. But No Time to Die, the 25th entry in the James Bond series of films, is shooting as of right now. It's filming, and there was a little anecdote that came out of the production of this film. Maybe I don't know.
It should be finished
It
filming.
better be.
It was supposed to
Yeah.
be released
It was
in April.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe this is an anecdote that came out afterwards. But
okay.
Here we go.
While it was filming.
Yes.
Okay.
In No Time to Die, the producers poured 8,400 gallons of Coca-Cola on an Italian street for a James Bond stunt.
Wow.
That's it. That's the story.
That's just what?
8,400 gallons of Coca-Cola.
8,400 gallons of Coca-Cola.
Yes. Because it was to aid and abet a stunt where a motorcycle jumps over a wall. I believe it's been in the trailers, and it lands on the street. But the cobblestones, they were too slippery. You know, what's a man to do? What's a man to do if your Italian cobblestones are too slippery? Pour 8,400 gallons of Coca-Cola all over the streets of this small Italian town, and then they're sticky.
That sounds like it sounds like either a Guinness World Record or a Ripley's Believe It or Not.
That's kind of ridiculous. Is it because of the
No, that's definitely ridiculous.
Yes,
That's not kind
it's
of
definitely
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
That's certainly ridiculous.
I'm kind of I'm befuddled. You explained it and I still don't get why.
Because it's sticky.
Yes,
Like the
Obviously.
sugar?
Dry.
Like
Emo.
whenever you drink Coca-Cola, you can get it's got that mouthfeel that kind of like you know. That's how it feels
Yes.
to me. Is that why, or is it because of the sugar that it's like literally like sticky?
Timo,
Is it
when you
nya or is
pour-
it?
when you pour Coca-Cola on something and it dries,
Okay,
is
it's
it
dried Coke.
sticky,
I
yes
guess
or
that
no?
was my question. I
Well,
I
yeah,
phrased
it's not
it
like
poorly.
wet.
They let
Yeah.
it sit there in the hot Italian sun for however long it took for it to evaporate.
Mamma mia, the hot Italian sun.
I was imagining the motorcyclist driving on the Coca-Cola filled street.
Just riding the wave.
Like, do they need to make? Does Coke have like special properties that look like oil or something? Like, huh? Nope.
No.
Simplest answer is always the best.
I think the moral of this story is that Hollywood producers are psychopaths, and I feel like they wield a bit too much power. The power that is to pour 8,400 gallons of Coca-Cola in an Italian street.
And then
Yeah,
when
imagine
they're
if someone
done,
like left their shoes outside.
I
What
don't
if
know.
someone left their shoes outside while that happened? Like, their shoes are fucked.
Yeah, they're filled with Coke.
Tanner, I can't think of one movie producer that abuses power.
Now that you say that, this was the first time that it happened. Ever.
Oh,
In the
God.
history of Hollywood.
Well, I
Ugh.
think that might have been a case study in why we shouldn't talk about the news on this show.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
I thought you were gonna
you gotta
say-
break a few eggs.
I thought you were going to say that they're shopping the film around for $600 million for streaming.
Six.
I think that's also a rumor that it might be go to Apple Plus or something
They
like
want
that. But...
Apple to
They
buy
better
it
not
for
go to fucking Apple Plus.
$600 million.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And let me tell you, it's going to make every dime back.
They're trying to
On
get
Apple
someone
Plus.
else. They're just trying to schlep the production costs onto someone else now. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, yeah.
The money, the loans and shit are coming due, and they're like,
Well,
I'm full of
Indeed.
them noises today.
Indeed. Indeed you are.
I'm gonna propose a motion to the floor of the Backlog
Alright.
Banter Senate here.
Mhm.
I think we end the episode.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
Yeah, I
good to
that's
think
me.
fair.
we've been going for 41 minutes. I think we had a lot of good conversation, and sometimes
has.
you got to know when to stop.
Mhm.
Sometimes you
Here's
do.
what I want to
That's
say,
us.
actually.
Have you
Here's
seen
what I
some of our
wanna say,
videos?
actually.
Hour Plus videos? We don't know when to stop. Are you kidding me?
Right, that's why I wanted to say one last thing before we wrapped up. I want to do some video planning live because I want to hold us
Okay.
accountable to the audience.
Oh.
Which one of you motherfuckers wants to review each episode of The Mandalorian season 2 with me?
I'll do it. I'm a big fan of The Mandalorian.
I haven't finished
Yes,
season
sir.
1, so not me.
Same here.
Tucker hasn't either, and I hate him, and I resent him
I
for
don't
it.
have a way to watch it. That's the dealio.
Oh,
Except for
Oh yeah, you're not in on the plan. You're not in on the scheme.
not
yeah.
in on the scheme.
The scheme to pay what, $5 a year to Disney?
$7.
$7 a year
Yes.
for all of their content.
Yes.
I have
That is
some episodes
Pocket change.
are mysteriously on my hard drive, but not all.
Oh.
I've seen the
Oh.
ones that are on my hard drive mysteriously.
Oh God.
They show up. Little angels bring the files in the middle of the night.
Well, actually, I do think that we have to close this with one quick thing.
Mhm.
We closed last week's episode with Tanner proposing a motion to the viewership of what to keep up with us watching for the
Mhm.
next week. And the movie that we were supposed to watch was, I think, that was
Chicago 7,
Trial,
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Trial of Chicago 7.
We did
We
watch
Which
did.
is-
We recorded a review of that.
and the review shall be going up tomorrow.
Yes.
But Borat 2 also came out.
Yeah.
Tanner and I watched it. There was a plan to make a video about that. I would like to talk about it, whether that is a smaller segment of something else or a full review that comes out. God, who knows? Who the hell knows when? But I think that'd be a fun thing to talk about.
Yeah.
I need to watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but I plan to.
I have seen neither Aliens nor Ghostbusters. So I'm going to be talking about both at some kind of juncture. So perhaps we do like a fucking rock block little podcast one-off special where we talk about a bunch of films we've been watching. You know what I'm saying?
Schmovies and
okay.
Schmidt.
I can talk about
Schmovies
the
and
stuff.
Schmidt.
You could finally talk about the stuff.
Oh yeah, the stuff. I did watch
And
the stuff.
Abram can finally talk about the Frozen short, Olaf, where'd he
Oh,
come
yeah.
from? Build a snowman or whatever.
Once
it's
upon
called.
a Snowman, I think. I did watch that
Yeah.
yesterday. Here those motherfuckers at Disney. By the way, this is why they don't deserve more than $7 per 12 of us in this family plan. Don't tell John Disney. But they list that motherfucking short.
His name's with the company. It's not John.
They list that short as 12 fucking minutes on Disney Plus. It's 5 minutes long and there's 7 minutes of credits.
There's
Oh dear Lord.
Oh, John. Oh,
John
what are you
Disney.
doing?
What have
I
you
guess
done?
you don't.
It's
I guess you
John
don't really.
Disney and Tim Apple are conspiring to rob us of our time.
But I also watched The Lonesome Ghost, so shout out to fucking 1930s Disney animation because it rocks. And shout out to the viewers of Backlog Bonus Stage for sticking with us. And shout out to me for ending the episode 4 minutes ago, and here we are 4 minutes later, not ending the podcast. So fuck, we're done. Goodbye. Timo, take us out.